Hello, I made it. So hopefully everybody can find me here. Hello, welcome to my classroom. And it's a beautiful day. It's also very hot today up in my neck of the woods. And I hope that you all are doing well and that you had a great class today. And I had some good classes today. And I just wanted to say hello. I saw that Danny did a little live today, and I saw that Evelyn did a live, well, she did a little video about her student who did a project, which is awesome. And yeah, so I just wanted to say, yeah, my classes went pretty good. I've been starting at like 6 or 6:30, and I have enjoyed my classes, but like today I had one middle of that canceled, and I had it open as a short notice, but then I changed it to just close it out because I'm just kind of getting tired. I'm doing 5 or 6 every morning. Friday nights I do 2 or 3 or 4. Tonight I have 3. I had one cancel and then it filled in with a trial class. So yeah, so I've been busy, and I don't know if you guys can see me. What's going on? Busy. Okay. Okay. I see everything working. So I just wanted to say hello, and I wanted to give an update on my classes are going well. My bookings are pretty good. I have like 5 or 6 openings for next week. So interesting. Usually my chat will show up I'm on StreamYard right now, but the chat is not showing up on StreamYard, but I see it on my iPad over here. I also have my iPad open. Oh, there it is. Okay. Hello, guys. Hello, Laura. Hello, Kelly. Hello, Meredith. So, yeah. So what's going on? So, yeah, my classes are going pretty good. Pretty regular. I have a couple of, hello Cindy Pummer, I have a couple of openings next week, like 4 or 5 openings, but that's fine because I'm doing between 35 to 45 classes every week, and for me that's pretty good. As far as my outside activities, I did make a video on my weight loss journey. And it's interesting because we just finished a weight loss contest in the weight loss group. And I don't really consider that group all about weight loss contest, really. I just kind of try to keep up with those habits that are good for good health and everything. And try to encourage other people to also do the same. And I just thought, I'm going to go look at my pictures from when I first started, which when I first started, I think people encouraged us to take a picture. I've never really been one to take pictures of myself, honestly, until VIPKID. I hated pictures of myself. And then I had to do it for VIPKID. So I went back and I looked at the pictures that I took, and then I looked at myself now in a picture, and I was like, wow, I can see a difference. So even though for me it's been 162 to 148, that's only 14 pounds, but it's also healthy living. So it's going to change everything about you. And yeah, so I thought that was kind of fun to watch that. And if anybody else has a journey like that, you might not think that you've had a difference, but if you've kept up with good habits over a period of time, you will see a difference. The other thing I was going to do was I wanted to have like um, a whole album of selfies from the last year, and I wanted to put it into kind of like a video where they're like going through really fast so you can see the changes. So if anybody knows how I do that, let me know. I can't figure out how to do it on iMovie. iMovie like zeroes in on the face, and and one way to work around that is you can make a video, a picture with picture collage, but I don't want to do that for every single photo. So if anybody has an idea on how to do that, please let me know. I have the opposite problem. Oh, yeah. Well, get with it, Kelly. So, yeah, I think it's really weird. I'm not one to really even look at myself or even care, like even pictures of me with my family. If I have pictures of myself from years gone by, it's usually me with my family. It's not me by myself or me. It's usually me with someone. If you ever see me at all. And I never was one to take pictures of myself pregnant or anything like that. I wasn't really thinking I look so beautiful pregnant. I was more like, just take pictures of the kids. Just don't worry about me right now. So, yeah. So if you have any hints on how I can put together all those pictures, I just want to kind of put them in order and then just kind of flip through them quickly. I don't want to be like spending time on each picture. I just want it to be quick run through. I love other people's pregnancy pictures, but I just never really liked them about myself. So as far as my garden is not doing very well. And so I have some vines that were growing, and we cleaned all the top and it looked really good, but all those vines are still underground, and now the other things are growing, and so the weeds and the vines are taking over. So and some animals ate the tops of my sunflowers. An animal ate, I had this big parsley bush, and the animal came in and ate all the parsley. So I'm really kind of discouraged. I do have some tomato plants that are growing, but obviously it's not going to be very many tomatoes. So I have a friend that is a really good gardener, and I'm going to just buy stuff from her. So I'm getting some zucchini and some squash today, and hopefully I'll be able to get more stuff from her. And yeah, I haven't finished my feedback yet today. But I'm also going to be going to a garden today, and I'm going to be leaving in a little while, and we're going to drive up to a garden. The friend that I'm buying stuff from, she said they have everything, and I'm hoping to pick some strawberries. She wants to pick raspberries. So I'm hoping to do some canning, or whatever I can do. I have made jelly before, so if I can get enough strawberries to make some strawberry jam jelly, I have the jars, I have the pectin, so I just need the fruit. So I haven't picked strawberries yet. So I'm hoping to go up there, and she said it's really beautiful up there. So I plan to make this one trip to kind of go there for the first time, and then I hope to go back because blueberry season and stuff is coming, and we'll see what else they have. So it's up in about 40 minutes north of me. So you have to call and make an appointment now so that they can stagger the people that come to visit. So that's what I'm going to do today. And so it is pretty hot, so I don't want to be too late getting there. But my friend that I'm getting vegetables for, well, she's kind of a friend of a friend, and she and I haven't really done a lot together, but who knows what will happen. Maybe we'll become better friends. And she's just a really good gardener. She has chickens. She is really good about, living naturally off of the garden and stuff like that. And so we'll see what happens. But yesterday I was really encouraged on my walk. I don't know, some of you are friends on Facebook. You may have seen a picture of that I took yesterday. This was on my walk. I actually took that picture down the street from me. Beautiful picture. We just happened to walk by when it was a beautiful sunset. I just love when that happens. Like, we're just taking our walk. We actually had stopped and talked to a neighbor, met a new neighbor yesterday, and very, very exciting because it's really cool when you meet somebody that you can talk to. We could have talked for hours, but we continued on our walk, and then we saw the beautiful sunset, and on the way back we saw this chicken on the top of a car. So that was really funny. So yeah, so as far as my weight loss journey, I have done walking. I was trying to do exercising. I was trying to go to the gym. Going to the gym is just not working for me. There's a lot of reasons why, but they have opened up the gym in our town. But it just seems like walking has worked for me. I saw somebody on the weight loss group that was doing VIPKID steppers, and then I joined the step bet, and I did that for like 6 months. And oh yeah, it's hot there, right, Cindy? Yeah. Yeah, I was really wanting a treadmill, but I don't really have space for a treadmill, and it is nice to get out. So yeah, I think it's easier to walk when it's cold than when it is scorching hot. So it was hot last night. It was pretty hot, but I'm sure not as hot as Texas because we have trees and it's, you get somewhat of a breeze. We did turn on the air conditioners yesterday. We don't always turn on air conditioners, but we did yesterday. I did turn them off this morning because the mornings can be pretty warm. So, oh, yes, Pastor Matt Wells. Yes, he is asking, is there a way to screenshot on the iPad? And you have come to the right place. Oh, I love your I love your icon there. Okay, so if you go to the iPad group, okay, go to the iPad group. I can't tell you, there is a way, okay, the way I have been doing it to get a screenshot, there's a couple of different things you can do. You can just take your phone, take a picture of it, okay, or you can also press the home button and the off button at the same time, but that could risk like turning your iPad off. Okay, let's see, where is my button? It's way up here. So I don't really do that as a thing, but you can do that. You can also do that on your iPhone for a screenshot. The other thing you can do, and this takes a few steps, but it is the best way to do it. So you go to the iPad group, and then you go to, let's see what we have here. We have, well, we have files. We have albums. Oh, we have topics. I think I figured out the topics is not on your iPad. That's great. So you can't find that on your iPad. For some reason, I don't know why the topics section is not on your iPad. So go to your group on your phone. If you have an iPhone, you're in luck. If you don't, I guess you have to go to your computer. Okay, so on my phone, you will see that it says topics. So you press on topics, and then you look at the topics, and at the bottom on mine, it says screenshot one touch. Click on that. One of our members has made all of these steps. So if you follow these steps, you will get a button. Okay, so this is how I screenshot. See this button right here? You will get this button once you follow all those steps. And then when you get the button, all you have to do is touch it. And you can take a picture of whatever's on your screen. And you can move that button around like anywhere you want. So if it's in the way, you can move it over. And so that I just keep that right on my front page all the time. This also comes in handy if like you're making a video and you want to just take a screenshot of one frame that you're videotaping. Hello, Audrey. So I totally recommend it. And someone else came up with the whole plan on how to do it. And I just went through and followed all the steps. It took a few minutes, but it was worth every minute that I spent. Kelly asks, does it get really hot in New Hampshire? We can have some hot days. I really like being warm, so, I'm okay with being warm, but it can get really humid. So I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Okay, so I'm going to turn Like yesterday, it was really humid and the air was stagnant. It might be a few weeks. It depends. Like in New Hampshire, you might have a really hot day and you feel like, it's the hottest day ever and you can't even move. It's so hot. But then the next day it could be cool. So it's not like usually an extended period of time that you're hot. So we do have a pool, so that's nice. So the kids can just jump in the pool. Yeah. So Matt, what do we call you? Oh, Todd Wells. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking you were Todd Wells, but okay, is that the same person? Okay, so yeah, so I would totally recommend to get that screenshot if you use your iPad at all. I have used it in ways that I didn't expect to use it, and those screenshots will go straight to your photo section um, of your iPad, so you can access them in the photos. So if you're taking photos of your classes, then you can delete them if you want to after a period of time, or you could put them in their own little folder. You could also use them as, like, some people will use pictures of their students for different reasons. So you could take pictures of your students that way. Obviously, you're not supposed to put your students' pictures on social media or anything like that. But if you wanted to use it for a file, or like if you use um, Feedback Panda, they have a place that you can put your students' faces in there. Yeah, so I am Northern. Um, so it's interesting because a lot of the Chinese kids have the same. I had one of my students tell me I am on the same latitude. Is it latitude? Yeah, the same latitude line. So we have the same weather. So yeah. Okay, so I talked about my journey. Okay. I did make a video about sun tea. Do you guys ever make sun tea? And I had bought a tea at Dunkin' Donuts, which is very popular around here. And it was $2 for an iced tea. And so I have a Pampered Chef. It's a cold brew carafe, but you could use anything that's glass, like a large jar or something, and just put some water in it and put some tea bags in it and put it outside and let the sun just kind of brew that tea and then bring it in. And I just bought some lemons and I put a little bit of sweetener. I have this Skinny Girl stuff that you just do a little bit of a squirt and a little bit of lemon, and you can make sun tea for really cheap. So I don't know if you can. I think that video is accessible. Only a couple people have watched it. I'm trying to put some easy, inexpensive recipes on. And I know a lot of people like coffee, and you can also do a cold brew coffee with the same carafe. There's like a thing that you put inside the carafe and it holds the coffee in. You just put the coffee in and you let it cold brew. You could do that in your refrigerator. You can also do it on your counter and then just put ice in it. So it's a really good way to make your own. Like, you don't have to spend all that money. Save your money and make your own. And it's just as good, if not better. I like to have just a little bit of sweetener. I don't like tons of sweetener, and I like a little bit of lemon, and you can make it however you like it. So I did put that recipe on. And also the weight loss group is announcing a winner on Saturday. So Micah is going to be starting a new group. And that group, I went back to the original weight loss group and we only had like 28 members, and now it has grown to, I think it's over 600, and he even capped it off so that we can he didn't want it to get into the thousands. But if you're interested in being a part of that accountability group, it's really great. And if you don't want to be in that group, and then I would totally recommend having an accountability partner. Casey and I have kind of gone back and forth, like, did you do your steps today? Yes, I did my steps, or I'm out doing a walk, or, thanks for the reminder, that kind of thing. It just kind of helps to keep you spurred on to keep going. And yeah, I, I know there's a lot of political stuff going on, and I've kind of been afraid on my channel to say too much. And I said a couple things the last video that I did about I can't remember what the video was actually about. But I said something that you can tell. I mean, I just want to say it. I am a Christian, so I do believe in God. I do believe in prayer. I do believe that we need order. We need law and order in our country. I do not agree with breaking down the historical things of our country. Um, I do not believe in any of that. So if I say something that offends someone, I don't want them to just like delete me from their friends list, or unsubscribe right now if you don't agree with me. um, Really think about why you don't agree and why you would just unsubscribe from someone, um, because part of the problem that we're having right now is we've all been quarantined since March. We're not really talking to people that we don't agree with. And when we do come up to someone that we don't agree with, we need to be graceful and we need to talk about things. I have been on groups on Facebook, in the town groups, not just my town, but some other towns. And, I'm trying to urge people to talk about things. Don't just think that you know everything and you know all the answers. Really research. If you hear something about someone, like a doctor or a vaccine creator or a person who believes in breaking things, research the source. That's what my suggestion is. Research the source. And that's what I have been trying to do. I have been trying to research the source. Now, in your research, you need to keep in mind that some people can pay people to write articles. So if you read an article for a company that this other person owns, then that's going to be a biased article. So you need to go to sources that have people that have nothing to gain. Hello, Amy. You need to go to sources, dig to the bottom, and you need to find the people that have nothing to gain and all they care about is trying to genuinely keep our country from falling apart. I mean, I am old and I have never seen in my lifetime or in any history I've ever studied that when you go around and you start wrecking things, that is going to be the answer to the problems of your society. And I've seen in different cities that police are being defunded. And is that going to help our city? Like, I don't want to live in fear. I mean, I understand that police do not do everything for us. They can't be everywhere, but they are a presence that we should be conscious of, and that could help us to be careful about what we do. Like if I know that I could get in trouble for breaking into someone's house, then I'm not going to do it. So if we just say, we don't want police, then our society is going to be unsafe. So people that want to defund the police, they're not really thinking of the whole society and what all of us have to say about it. And I don't really understand. I do know that there are some things about our society we need to fix. Do you think there are sources that have no bias? Um, that's a good question. That is a really good question. I think that really great places. I saw a video yesterday of a woman who was, she was interviewing, and she was asking all the questions to people that are being accused of being conspiracy theorists, and they were giving answers. She was asking questions and this other person was giving answers. And it was a really good conversation. And something like that I thought was really profitable, because the guy that was being considered a conspiracy theorist, it seemed like he was a lot like me. Like, he had found a lot of the same information I found. And, his conclusion was, I hope I am a conspiracy theorist. Like, I hope I wake up tomorrow and everything I thought was true is not true. And so I was like, yes, that's how I feel too. Like, I don't want to I don't want to know some of the things I've learned. Let me tell you something. Um, I have raised 13 children. We had no TV for like 10 years. So when we did get a TV, we weren't addicted to it, because before that, everybody was just leaving the TV on. When I was first married, I was lonely and I left the TV on most of the time. And that's how people lived. You just left the news on and you watched the news in between all of the stuff that you're doing. We got rid of the TV completely for at least 10 years. And when we brought it back, we only had videos, and we had, like, around here, we had a public broadcasting station, and we had that station, and that was it. So I didn't watch a lot of the common news. And I have kids. I mean, there has been stuff in the news I don't want my kids to see down through the years, and I can tell you the exact events that I didn't even want my kids to watch the news because of it. And so when you go back to the news, you see how crazy it is. Not to mention the experiences I've had with the news, where I've realized they don't really care about the truth. Personally, I've seen things. And so C-SPAN, I haven't really watched that. I do watch Fox News, and I see that they are somewhat biased, like, who they want to win and stuff like that. But I think that your values of what you believe in your life are definitely going to play into what type of news you want to watch. Like, if I believe in having police, and I believe in law and order, and I believe in, I do not believe that abortion is good for anyone. So I'm going to watch people that have the same values that I have. But to me, those are values that I would die for. Like, if we have no police, we might die anyway. But I mean, I really do believe we should have police, and we should have law and order, and we should not be abusing children and things like that. So of course I'm going to watch news that lines up with what I believe. But there are also facts, like, fact. Is it a fact that what's in vaccines? Now that would be a fact. What are the ingredients in vaccines? That would be a fact. So you can dig for that exact information. Now there might be, like, I have followed some people, and the name of a person who was asked to research the information by President Trump, and he is a proponent for safety for vaccines. And just today I saw a friend that posted that he is a lot of his information is false. And so so there's going to be information on both sides. This is what I believe about vaccines. This information says this person is false, and he's, creating problems for people who want to vaccinate and stuff like that. So 5 days. Oh yeah. I saw that commercial. And so which one is right? Is the guy really helping with vaccines, or is he hindering with vaccines? So I guess you do have to look at both sides in that situation and say, what are they saying and what are they saying? Because there are going to be people on both sides. But from what I've seen, there are facts that show that there are bad things, ingredients in vaccines. There is a bad, um, there is a bad, this new thing is not going to be good. There's an article going out in my state. They want people to volunteer to take the COVID-19 vaccine. And I think that's dangerous. Like, people think they're doing a good thing, but they're actually volunteering to. And then I saw another article that said all these people got damaged from the vaccine. And then another person said, well, they were volunteers. So, do you think as a scientist or as a doctor or someone who loves people, people would want other people to be treated like a guinea pig? And then the article said that you can volunteer today and then it will be 2 years that they're going to do the study, but then they're talking about giving people vaccines within a few months. So that's my thing. Like, no matter what's going on in the world and no matter how bad it is, if I can just live in my little bubble and nobody's going to hurt me for what I believe, then to me, that's the basics of freedom. But if you're going to come to my house and you're going to force me to be vaccinated, that's where I'm like, that is just not reasonable. But a lot of this stuff that's happening in the world is like this big wave, like a tsunami wave. And it's coming towards every single person. And in order to fight it, we all have to say no. We all have to. No one is forced to do it, but they're making it look like Kelly says they're volunteers, though no one is forced to do it. At that point, they are volunteers, but it's going to be 2 years before they really know who's affected. So it's really, it's a futile effort because they want them to volunteer now. In 2 years, they'll have all the information, and they're hoping to vaccinate every single person on the planet before 2 years. So it's and they already know that people are going to have side effects. They just don't know how many people, they don't know how many side effects, they don't know which side effects, they don't know how many people will die. So if you're ready to die and you're ready to live with brain damage or anything like that, then go ahead. But most people think they're going to help, and most people think that they're going to be okay. That's why they volunteer. Human scientific trials are critical. Okay. Okay. Well, I guess we don't agree then because, um, yeah, I'd rather just live free without that. I'm not volunteering for it. What is the percentage of people in my state getting COVID? Okay, it is very low. It is under 1%. It's like 0.05% or something. Well, cancer is different because does she have cancer? If you have cancer and you are going to do a trial drug, that's different because I have a friend who has lung cancer, and yes, she has taken trial drugs and they have kept her alive. She's been alive for like 3 years. And I have another friend that was diagnosed with lung cancer. He died in 2 months. So, that can be a help if you have cancer and you want to go on a trial drug, because there's some cancers that people have had that nothing works. So 1 state out of 50. What does that mean? Oh, because we have a low percentage. But I think that everybody should be able to choose what their percent. Why do we have to make a blanket over the entire country for everyone the same thing if it's different in different states and different people are seeing different results? So that's what I believe. But you're right, and that's where talking about it does have to be considered. And I just don't think that I saw another interview that was really good. This one guy who was being interviewed, he believed that you should vaccinate every single person on the planet, and if some people don't want to be vaccinated, you go into their house and you give them a vaccine anyway. That's what he believed. And so the guy who was doing the interview asked him a lot of questions. And he said, if kids aren't getting COVID, then why would we want to vaccinate them and put them at more risk as a child? And we don't even know how long this is going to last. And by the end of the interview, the man who wanted to vaccinate every single person, you could tell he was thinking about what he was saying. You could tell he was considering those questions, and you could tell he was doubting his own original thoughts. So that's what I'm talking about, is to not just jump. A lot of people, they'll be like, I'm definitely getting the vaccine. I want to get life back to normal. But they don't understand, number one, what's in those vaccines. Number two, how is this going to affect people? Is the result going to be worse than the original? Now, my question is all of this. Now, there are also theories about the fact that this could have been planned. This could have been something anticipated. This is being used as a political weapon against one another, I guess you'd say. So those are questions like, why would you want to get I can't help but read caps as yelling. I know it's just a standout, but I read it. Like, Teacher Kelly is passionate. Yeah, they are choosing. Okay. Unfortunately, kids are not immune. I have a friend who's a pastor, and both him and his daughter have the coronavirus as we speak. Okay. So, and I've seen that too, that some people say that kids are getting it. I've also seen that people are saying that kids are getting it, but the tests are not accurate. I've seen people say that I saw a senator in Texas do a video, and he said that they're counting the same test several times. Like, if a person gets tested every few days, they count that as another test. And so that makes it look like the tests are getting more, numbers are going up, whatever. Yeah, and that's the question too. What are the symptoms? I do know people that have gotten it, and no one that I know personally has been hospitalized for it. Like, nobody said it was a picnic, like, oh, that was the easiest thing I ever had. It was sickness, but none of the people that I know personally. That doesn't mean that, the whole world couldn't be in the hospital, but nobody that I know personally has had it and gone to the hospital. People that have had it have gotten over it. So anyway, my story is be open, to the truth. I have definitely changed my opinion. When all of this started in March, I really believed that it was the right thing to go home and to be safe and don't go out and be careful. I actually was considering, if so many people die, if all the doctors and nurses die or they're sick at home, then I need to be ready to help at the hospital. So I need to be ready to go, and even though I'm not a nurse, I might have to give my life for this cause. That's how I felt in March. So I'm a passionate person. I am a really passionate person, and I want to help people. And I was thinking, my kids are older. They could live without me if they had to in an emergency. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, my husband's a pastor. He might be called. If people are out of work, they might be the ones called to the hospital. Like, I'm thinking we're doing this together, and we have to try to work together. But now I'm seeing things that are downright scary. And there are things that I believe that are true, and maybe on both sides there are things that are true. But you can't just, bully your way into making someone think just like you. And I've been on a group where people swear at me because I don't want to wear a mask, but I don't live in a city. I'm not close to people. Like in New England, we barely ever, I don't even hug people on a normal day without COVID. So I'm not a huggy person and I don't really breathe down people's necks. But if I was, say, I went to the Science Museum and there's a lot of people there and I need to be safe, then that's different than my everyday life at home. Or if I go to the grocery store and there's 10 people in the store, but everybody has to wear a mask. I mean, it is different for different people, and we need to give people respect to be able to think about these things. I have raised 13 kids and I have read a lot about vaccines, and one time I went to the doctors and I took my paper that says all the risks and everything, and I highlighted some places and I asked the doctor, I said, what about this, what about that, and what about this? Thank you, Meredith. The doctor just like got mad at me for asking questions. And he basically threw the papers at me and he's like, you're just doing stuff on the internet and, I don't have time for this. And this was a friend of mine, not just a doctor, but he was actually a friend of my family. And he had been very kind to us up to that point. And I didn't even have the internet at that time. I just had started questioning. Like I read the paper, like that's what you're supposed to do. Read the paper. What am I signing? And so he was very upset with me. So that kind of triggered me to think, maybe there is something to questioning what's on these papers. And so this happened probably like 20 years ago. And then as time goes along, you get your shots for your kids and you get the normal ones. And then they keep coming out with all these new ones. So I decided I'm not doing the chickenpox vaccine. I'm not doing all these new shots. And every time I went into the doctor for a checkup, there's new shots, even though they said they're done until they're 18. So I'm like, you know what? We're not going to do any more shots. We're going to wait. When they're 18, if they want to have all these extra shots, they can decide for themselves whether they want it or not. But as a parent, I'm done because I want them to be healthy and safe. And I don't believe that they need these extra shots. And so that's my thing. Lyme patients experience this all the time. Yeah. And I did have Lyme's disease and I trusted my doctors on that. I had these big, huge circles all over my body. I called the doctor. He's like, come right down. He said, come right down, drop everything, come right down. I went right down. He said, you need this antibiotic. And I did ask him questions. I said, are you sure this is going to be enough? Are you sure that this is going to work? How do you know? I had no idea it was Lyme's. I'm like, Lyme's I thought was one bite and you had one bullseye. But he said, no, you had a bite somewhere on your body and it has gone through, and I can't remember the name for it, but it has gone through your whole body and you need to go on this antibiotic. And that's always in the back of my mind, and to be safe. And so far I have been okay. And, it's been in the back of my mind that maybe that didn't work. Maybe I could still have effects of having Lyme's because I definitely had it, but so far so good in my world. So, yeah, in New Hampshire, Lyme's is pretty big, but there are a lot of people I know that have had Lyme's that didn't have the rash and they didn't have any other symptoms. And so years later, they found out because they had the neurological problems. So I was fortunate to have the rash because I had no other symptoms. I didn't have any sickness. Didn't have any pain, nothing. All I had was the circles. And I figured I was allergic to something. So it's not that I don't trust doctors, and it's not that I won't take medicine. And I just believe that, there's only, like my husband says, there has to be a limit to how much drug you can put into your body without it saying enough. And so, yeah, so that's my story. So my story is, be open to learn because we do have the internet. The truth is there. and we need to try to find it. Ask questions. Don't just watch a video and say, yes, I believe all that. Look into it. Log the information. Now, with this Epstein thing, I had heard about him dying years ago or whenever it was. I did not look into this guy. He was a disgusting pig, and I didn't want to know anything about his life. But then I found some new information that, I was like, wow, maybe this will affect my life. And then I thought, what about all these victims that he has hurt and everything? And that just kills me to think about the trouble that has gone on in our country, and these people are getting away with it. And what's gonna happen to us when these people get found out? Because it's gonna affect all of us, because it's people that we know. I don't know if I can watch the Netflix documentary. People have told me to watch it. I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready. I have to be really ready. And I thought, this can't be true. This can't. My daughter is 30 something, and she told me about sex trafficking, and I'm like, it can't be that bad. I didn't know. And I couldn't know. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand thinking about it. And but then the woman was caught in New Hampshire. It's true, guys. This is really true. And so, there's some things we don't want to be true. I saw a video at one point saying, if you can't watch this video, just turn it off and just wait until you can handle it. And oh, wow, Amy Lou. Wow. I saw Ivanka, and they gave a report, the government report. It was like 500 pages long of sex trafficking all over the world. I just kind of went through it to see if there were any big names on it, but I didn't see any. But I'm telling you, I have raised 13 kids, and I have kept them in a bubble, and I was accused of a lot of things. But none of them got stolen at this point yet that I know of. And it's just it's so tough, it's so tough. It's a tough world, and it's tougher than I thought. There were times I'd tell my kids, don't do this, be careful. They're like, you're making stuff up. It's not that bad. And whenever I would find something new, I would tell my kids, I'm like, guys, when I find out what's really true, it's worse than anything that I ever thought. So, yeah, Houston's huge. Oh, wow. Wow. The ship canal, the 10 corridor is very bad. We also have very diverse cities. So many go unnoticed. That is so sad. So sad. I was reading excerpts from Trump's niece's book. He has done so many terrible things. Well, yeah. Well, Candy, that is one situation that is going to have to be dealt with, because, yeah. If you look at her, she is also friends with Hillary Clinton. And keep in mind, they're doing whatever they can to make sure that he is taken off of his post. And I've never thought that he was a saint. I never liked Donald Trump. When I found out that he was going to be president, I was not happy. I was like totally not happy. My sister said, because he's a good businessman. I'm like, he's terrible. I don't want him as president. But keep this in mind. I saw that there's pictures of him with Epstein. I also heard that he probably knew what Epstein was up to. And I heard that Epstein went to one of his places and Trump kicked him out. That's what I'm hoping is true. That's what I told my husband. I said, I'm hoping he is okay, and he's going to come out of this okay, and he's going to still stand. Because why? Because Trump is standing right now, today, for the things that I believe in. He is standing against sex trafficking. He is standing against ruining our country's monuments and things like that. He is standing with some really good people. He is standing with Dr. Carson. He's standing with Dr. Penn. Oh, and here I am getting political, and I wasn't planning on doing that. But look at who he's surrounding himself with and who speaks about him now. And it doesn't mean that it erases the past at all. If he's done anything like illegal or whatever, then he does have to answer for that. I'm not saying that it erases anything, because I mean, if Epstein was caught and he was doing all these good things, then of course he has to be held accountable. So if there's something illegal he's done, then by all means he has to answer for that. But these people have been doing everything in their power, including ruining our economy, to get him out of the it's war. It's war right now. It is political war. It is evil against good. It is war against the good of our country and the evil in our country. And the monuments of people who were for the Confederacy. Okay, Candy, I know you're a very smart person and you probably know more about these people than I do. But I just believe that if this was something that we were going to do as a country, that we would do it in a way that would be respectable. We wouldn't just say, okay, let's get the mob out and start tearing stuff down. I mean, I don't want my kids to ever do that. Do I want them to go into anywhere? Like, if they don't like something going on, are they supposed to go and just trash things and wreck things and break things? I think that it has to be done in a respectable manner and with the consensus of the people who live here. We all live here. And there are a lot of people who don't believe that what they did was right. And the Confederacy, is, my husband always, he's pretty smart too. I don't want to sit here and say I know everything about our country and history. I don't. But I do know that there are a lot of respectable people in our history. Okay, so some of you may know the song Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace was written by John Newton. He was a horrible man. He was brought up as a Christian. He was a rebellious person. He was wicked. He went away from his home, and he had a really lot of bad stuff that he did. He was in the slave trade. He was the leader. Like, he did it. He was the boss of the slave trade. And then he got saved. And then he gave his life to correcting the wrong. Okay. Now, you can't correct the wrong by, you can't go back and refix some things that you do wrong in some situation like that. But at the time, he was doing wrong, and he did a lot of things to help correct the wrong. And then he wrote the Amazing Grace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, I am now found. I was blind, and now I see. Okay, so that does happen. And it also happened in the Bible with Paul. He was killing Christians, and then he turned around and he became a person who gave his life, and he was beaten and left for dead and everything else. So he didn't just say it, he lived it. And so in our history, we do have people that did wrong things, but do we think about what they did to amend the wrong? Do we think about all the people that fought against slavery to help people? And there are a lot of people that agreed that that was wrong, and a lot of people who helped to do what's right by the people that were hurt. And you can't fix everything. You can't change history. So go break everything, go or try to erase history. It's still history. It's still our history. And now this is our history. Now our history is that we're breaking stuff and we're saying it's okay. That's not okay. It's not okay to just break stuff. Yeah. Teach a lesson with it so everyone understands why. Okay. So, that's my story. And I have tried to, I had talked in one of my previous videos about trying to homeschool your kids and how you can go about doing that. And I talked about the Robinson curriculum. And the man who did that Robinson curriculum, his philosophy is great. If you go online, you could read his story about his philosophy. And his philosophy was, don't listen to what people say today about a person. Go back to close to where he lived and go back to maybe even his own writings, his own memoirs, like Thomas Jefferson. Go read what he wrote personally, and then read what other people wrote about him in his time period. And that will give you a better picture than waiting, you know, what, 100 years, 150 years, or whatever to fix everything, or to, talk about it now according to what happened then. Because we don't always get a clear picture of the actual events that happened. Do we turn away from our wrongs, or do we continue our wrongs? That's a good question. That's good. And yeah, there's so much I could say, but I don't want to offend anyone by what I say. And this is my channel. I guess I can say what I want, but I am afraid. I'm afraid to say what I believe at this point, because I don't want to offend people, and I don't want to, alienate anyone. But I do, if you believe the truth, then you do have something you're basing it on. And I try to base what I believe on the Bible. I try to, but we've even learned that sometimes we read the Bible with a bias. So we have to be careful to read the Bible and be open to change, and be open. We have to be open to change, and we have to be open to, goodness. Now, if we follow the Bible, we will be good to a fault. Like, we will forgive people that are unforgivable. That's hard. We will do what's right, even if it hurts us. A lot of times that's a good barometer of what's right and wrong. If this person's willing to tell me the truth, even though they're going to get hurt by it, then maybe they really are telling the truth. If they're willing to put their own life on the line for that situation, then maybe they really are telling the truth, and maybe we should listen. And so if they have nothing to gain from telling me the truth, for example, if I have nothing to gain by trying to rescue people from vaccines. I mean, what does it matter to me if someone takes a vaccine or not? But just don't come after me with one. And how is this going to affect our whole world? If the government could tell us what we have to do, something as serious as taking a vaccine, what else are we in for? I mean, I've seen people have arguments with masks, and that's not even as serious as a vaccine. So we need to be careful that we aren't just going along with it, but that we know what we're doing, and we understand that if there are people that are conspiracy theorists, what kind of person are they? Why are they believing this stuff? What is their character like? What do they have to gain by believing this? And then, make your own judgment. Talk to someone, talk to people who agree with you, and talk to people who do not agree with you. And my thing right now is, we really do need to get to know our neighbors, because we might be needing our neighbors at some point. I've been very kind of standoffish, doing my own little thing, but you don't know what's up ahead, and we might need to be together with our neighbors. So this is the root, government overstepping in this time in our country. Exactly. So I need to go. I have things I got to do. You guys got me down talking about stuff I probably shouldn't have even talked about. Hopefully nobody else will watch this video. Thank you for a great talk, and thank you for coming, and I will see you guys next time.